the scandals just keep coming. The news keeps coming. And this time, Michigan doesn't look like the bad guys. And some of this, by the way, is pot calling the kettle black, getting a little taste of your own medicine because Ohio State fans and obviously like Purdue, Rutgers, the whole Big Ten and their coaches, their ADs have been coming at Michigan for weeks about counter Stalions and all that. When it turns out, if this information is accurate, late-breaking ESPN report that Ohio State, Purdue, and at least Rutgers, they're doing a lot of the same things together collectively that they've been accusing Michigan. Let's take a look at what broke late this afternoon, early evening. Michigan sent documents to the Big Ten showing teams that they believe had their signs in 2022. This is coming off the Associated Press report earlier that a former Big Ten staff member came to the Associated Press saying, look, the staff he was on was sharing signals and signs and had laminated call sheets from Michigan's offense, Michigan's defense. The teams that were specifically mentioned, Rutgers, Greg Schiano, Purdue, played Michigan in the Big Ten championship game last year. And, of course, Ohio State. So this seems like a Ryan Day, Greg Schiano thing. They used to coach together, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator in 2017, 2018 in Ohio State. Now they're going to get together, steal Michigan signs, spy on Michigan, do whatever they have, report back. I think the thing that needs to be identified here is whether it was done in games or not, whether Ohio State had it, documented all the plays, etc., and they didn't break any of like the electronic rules with binoculars or anything like that, in-person scouting. That doesn't matter because the thing that the Big Ten's been coming at Michigan for is the sportsmanship rule. The sportsmanship rule that they're going to try and take down Jim Harbaugh with potentially an indefinite suspension to. Teams colluding together, 3 teams to try and give one team the advantage to win the Big Ten championship game. How is that not the most brazen sportsmanship violation of Big Ten rules that you have ever seen, right? Maybe say, James, that sounds like hyperbole. You're talking crazy, yada, yada. But I don't necessarily think that I am. I don't think that it's crazy to think that Michigan working on their own and using signals, whether they knew about it or not, whether it was counter Stalions or it was the entire organization, is any worse than teams playing each other, having one guy documenting, okay, cool, we've got this, we've got that, okay, Michigan ran this play, this is the signs they had, turn it over to Purdue, offensive signals, defensive signals, so Purdue can take Michigan out in the Big Ten championship game. We'll have more on this in just a moment, but I did want to tell you guys, if you're a Michigan football fan and you are fighting the good fight out there, you're talking trash in the grocery store to your Michigan State friends, you live in Ohio and you're, oh, you guys are cheaters. No, we're not, Ohio State. You guys are the cheaters, right? You guys broke sportsmanship rules. Give me a go blue in the live chat if you're watching live on Tuesday, or put this video out later on Tuesday night on demand in the channel. Go down in the comments. Give me a go blue because I'm fired up now, baby, Jack. This is what we waited for all year. You got Penn State. Then you got Maryland. Josh Gass, revenge game there, baby. And then you've got Ohio State. Ohio State knew Michigan had their signals last year, changed them up. Didn't matter. 75 yards, 85 yards. The Don, 45-23, shellacking in your own house. In your own house. And then you're going to turn around a week later and give the signals to Purdue. You have all Michigan's offensive signals. The funny part, Jack, is because Michigan was actually having trouble with Purdue last year until the middle of the third quarter. Okay? They couldn't really get things going on offense. I wonder why. Because they had all of Michigan's offensive signals. Ohio State, Rutgers, the 2 coaches that worked together with the Buckeyes under Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, Greg Schiano, organizational from the top down, colluded with other staffs to try and steal a Big Ten championship from the admirable, the prestigious, the wonderful Jim Harbaugh and the University of Michigan football team. I think it's an absolute sham. It's a scam. And I think the Big Ten should vacate Ohio State's season and Rutgers and Purdue last year. I think all of them should get all of their wins vacated. Purdue definitely should get their Big Ten West championship vacated. And I do think there's probably reason to believe that if it can be proved through electronics or text messages or emails that Ryan Day and Greg Schiano were behind this and they organized it and they pushed it in front of people, I think they absolutely should be facing worse penalties or at least as bad of penalties as the Big Ten reportedly wants to bring down on Jim Harbaugh. I think either later on Wednesday or sometime early Thursday, late in the day Wednesday, early Thursday, we are going to hear that the Big Ten is going to suspend Jim Harbaugh indefinitely within hours, either end of the day Wednesday or Thursday. As soon as they find out, Michigan will go file an injunction in court, get a temporary restraining order to allow Jim Harbaugh back on the field until the court case and the lawsuit is settled or they settle out of court. Harbaugh will be back in the field, and that's will be that. But these fans of these programs, Ohio State, Rutgers, Purdue, they're just the pot calling the kettle black, and they're living in a glass house, and they are just throwing boulders. They're throwing stones. They live in a glass house, and it's frankly despicable. And I think we're going to find out who's the real best team in the Big Ten here coming up on Saturday, and then with Ohio State coming up in under 3 weeks. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. If you support the Michigan football team, help us grow, because there are a lot of Ohio State YouTube channels that are growing at a same rate or near rate we are, and I don't want you to log on one day and say, gosh, we see all these Ohio State videos. Ohio State fans are coming in our feed, commenting. Help support the team, support this channel. Make sure that Michigan football is aptly represented on YouTube and across social media. Hit that sub button. Jack, we should show the sub counter at some point during this cut, if not the entire live video. So subscribe today. Hit that sub button. Now, let's talk about Jim Harbaugh. Has he been vindicated by the NCAA findings from this morning that they turned over to the Big Ten, that was part of the Big Ten's notice of allegations to Michigan, that says we can't find any evidence. We can't find any evidence that Jim Harbaugh had any knowledge of what was going on, the Connor Stalions sign stealing, the travel, the purchasing of tickets, being on the sideline at the Central Michigan game, any of that. Will Jim Harbaugh be vindicated long term? Will it help him out with the Big Ten? I don't think it's going to help him out with the Big Ten, but I think in the eyes of Michigan fans, I can look at the camera right now. I can kiss my son goodnight, my daughter. I can say, hey, we're rooting for Michigan this week, and not feel like an absolute schmuck, because it wasn't this operational malpractice or this loss of institutional control that some other schools have had happen over past seasons and past decades, generations, etc. So as soon as Michigan gets a suspension that we expect in the next 36 hours or so, at least Wednesday or early Thursday, coming down from the Big Ten, even though NCAA said Jim Harbaugh, as far as we can tell, was not involved at all. The Big Ten commissioner is such a schmuck. He is such a spineless a-hole, I think, like the last one was, Kevin Warren. The only one who had any guts was Jim Delaney. That guy had some brass balls. He's going to kowtow to all these coaches and ADs who say, hey, something needs to be done now. Something has to happen with Michigan. So he's going to do this. I think this is his chess move. He's going to say, okay, I don't want all these coaches to be mad at me, because then they're going to try and vote me out, get rid of me, et cetera, et cetera. But I can't, like Michigan, I can't take away my golden goose if they're the number one team in the country. They beat Ohio State. So here's what he's going to do. This is my prediction. He knows that Michigan's going to sue. They can get a temporary restraining order. That Harbaugh's going to coach. So he's going to try and play both sides. He's going to say, okay, hey, I suspended him. What more can I do? They sued. Harbaugh's back in the field. Yes, okay, Michigan's there. I look good to these coaches. Harbaugh's still in it. We can still make the national championship. We can still have maybe 2 teams in the playoffs. Big Ten forever. That is my prediction. And frankly, I think that is what is going to happen. Let me know what you guys think, though. Will Jim Harbaugh coach the rest of this 2023 Michigan football season? I'm talking about every single game. Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Big Ten championship game, college football playoff semifinal, national championship game. I think yes. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a yes or no. Lord Buddy Bear's in the chat. My man, Buddy Bear, showing some love. Lord Buddy Bear is in the chat. He says yes, and let me know what you guys think. Yes or no. Will Harbaugh coach every single game the remainder of this season? I got Nate saying yes. Colton saying, hell yeah, I will. Thomas Griffith saying yes. And keep it going in the live chat or later on in the comments if you're watching this on demand. Here's a new live sub counter, right? We have 28,660 subscribers. If anyone's watching right now that wants to have their subscribed show up in real time, got about 150 people watching your live, hit that sub button. Have that change from 28,660 to 28,661. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. This video is going up on Thursday night, so if you want to watch it back, make sure there it is, 661, 662. So I see you guys later on demand. Go Blue.